To be honest, I think it's a misconception that Europe is more expensive because that's really not the case.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Bani Abroad. This time I have a very special guest here. When I was thinking of studying abroad and choosing the country for MIM, I was very confused because my top choice was Europe, but because of immigration purpose and taking time to settle in that country, that's why I chose Canada instead. But there's someone who I have for this interview who chose Europe instead. So let's see what his opinion is, and then hopefully this video will help you to better understand which country is better for you. So let's get started. Welcome Mayank to this channel, and thank you so much for taking out the time, and I think that this video would be really useful for all those people who are struggling with the country like we were a few years ago. So thanks a lot for your time.
Absolutely, and thanks a lot for having me. I'm happy to be here.
So let's get started right away, and why don't you start with your introduction and then we'll head on to why you chose Europe.
Alright, so for those of y'all who don't know me, my name is Mayank. I'm a second year student at HEC Paris. I'm specializing in marketing. And I've been in France for almost 3 years now. I came here in 2018 and I'm going to be graduating this year.
Oh, that's amazing. And HEC Paris is one of the top B schools across the world. So congratulations, Mayank, for getting in. And you said that you are going to graduate this year and you are in your second year. But you mentioned that you have been living in France for the past 3 years. So tell me, how does this work?
Yeah, I was going to explain that. So the thing is, at HEC, we have the first academic year, and then you have the gap year in the middle, and then you have the second academic year. So even though I've been here 3 years, I'm in my second academic year, but technically it's the third if I include the gap year.
Right. And I feel that's an amazing opportunity to have a gap year, because MIM is usually for people who do not have that kind of work experience. So it gives the time to explore and then see what is the specialization that you really want to pursue. So that's great. And since you mentioned that you are doing marketing, so is that something you knew from beforehand, or is it something that you worked during your gap year and then you got to know about it?
Oh no, honestly, so for me, I knew that I wanted to go into marketing since I was in, I think, 11th or 12th grade. So it's been quite a while. I chose to do computer science for my bachelor's because I wanted to get like a wider variety of my knowledge, because everything is moving digital now. And I thought that since I'm already interested in tech and the tech industry, and I have an analytical brain as well, like an analytical side of my brain as well, I wanted to develop that further by doing a bachelor's in CS. But then I knew during my bachelor's as well that I would be studying marketing immediately after I graduated.
That's great to have knowledge about your calling. Okay, let's stop blabbering about this. Mayank, tell me why you chose Europe and why you particularly chose France.
The reason I chose Europe and particularly France was because I had attended the HEC Paris summer school in 2016 in luxury management. And when I did the summer school, it was essentially just for the experience. I had no career goals to go to HEC or anything at that time, and I was just exploring things, and I really enjoyed the experience. And after attending the summer school is when I realized that HEC is a great option for me to do a master's, because they don't require full-time work experience before joining. Like a lot of MBA programs, they require work experience before joining, and I feel like if you're doing an MBA, if you don't have any work experience, even if the program doesn't require it, you're not going to really take away as much from the program, because the rest of your classmates are going to be much older, right? So the reason I chose France and Europe is because of the presence of MIM programs here. The top MIM programs in the world are in Europe, and that's what I targeted, and that's how it worked out.
Okay, yeah, that's an interesting insight. And I'm curious about the summer experience program. So those people who are still in their undergrad, maybe they also want to experience something like that. So could you do a detour and talk a little bit about that?
The summer program at HEC, so I think it's not just HEC, there's a bunch of other European business schools who have summer programs as well, but I can speak about the HEC one. The program is amazing. It's 2 weeks long. It's specialized onto one particular topic. Like for me, I did it in luxury management. Personally, I think it's a great experience. It's a great experience, and it's a great way to really get to get your feet in the water, and try to really to understand what the education system here is like. I feel like the summer program, if you're in your bachelor's, if you're in your second year or third year, like it's a great thing to do in the summer. So the summer program, of course, it costs money, and but the upside is that it's much less expensive than the summer programs in North America. So North American business schools, or North American schools in general, they have summer programs which cost like $10,000-$15,000 usually. But the summer program at HEC, I remember the tuition fee was something around 2,000 something euros. you know. So it was much less expensive than the North American ones, which is what made me want to come here. I would highly recommend doing it if you have the time and the means to do so. But I would, also set your expectations, right? Because a lot of people ask me if doing a summer program is going to help them break into a different career field. I don't think a summer program is going to get you there. But it's just a great experience, it's a great experience. It really definitely helped me grow a lot as a person and a professional. It really showed me what I could be doing, and right in my bachelor's time itself. So I highly recommend doing that if you're able to.
The students who are in their undergrad, take note and see if you want to pursue this. It's not mandatory, and it's not that, okay, if you do this, then only you'll get admission into HEC Paris. So it's about your exploration, and you just want to explore another country and explore another topics. So that's about it, but it's not something mandatory to get admission there. So thank you, Mayank, for telling me about this. And now let's do a comparison of the tuition cost, because this is an important factor when you choose that, okay, you want to study abroad. So initially, in my mind, I thought that European B schools are expensive compared to North American also. Both are equally expensive, but I was doing my research. I got to know that some of the European B schools, they are not that expensive compared to the B schools which are in North America. So tell me a little bit about the cost structure. You can take the example of HEC Paris or in general about Europe, and then I can later tell about North America.
To be honest, I think it's a misconception that Europe is more expensive, because that's really not the case. In fact, so I can give you numbers, I'm not sure about the tuition cost for this year specifically. I'm sure it's a little bit more than what I'm going to tell you. But so in my case, right, the entire MIM program, which is 2 years plus the gap year, the entire tuition fee for that was around 38,000 euros.
For Canada and for US, the range can start from 40,000 Canadian dollars to even Ivy Business School is the most expensive here, I believe. So that's around 80,000 Canadian dollars. And if you look at Duke B School in the US, it's USD, so it gets more expensive. That's around roughly 60,000. I'll put the accurate figure down below so you can see what's the difference and then make your decision accordingly.
So European business schools, and I know that HEC is probably one of the more expensive ones. I think the rest of them are either the same or slightly lesser. That's honestly a really big plus point.
So we have talked about the tuition expenses, but that's not all that it takes for you to study abroad. So let's also talk about the monthly expenses. So Mayank, on an average, what is the monthly expense for a student who lives comfortably? Not a very luxury life and not a very frugal, but a comfortable average.
So to be honest, I think my estimate for a comfortable average for monthly expenses would be anywhere between 900 to 1,000 euros. Okay, so after with this current situation this year, my expenses have definitely reduced because I'm not going out as much and eating out at restaurants or whatever as much. So now I'm spending something I think 800 euros a month if I include the rental subsidy that I get. But I think generally it's something around 1,000 euros a month. So if I could give a quick breakdown of that, my rent is 580 to 600 euros. On campus. That's at HEC on campus. In Paris, it's more expensive, so of course it differs depending on which school you go to. But at HEC, my rent is 600 euros. I spent somewhere around probably 250 euros a month on groceries. The rest of the money goes on things like my transport card, my phone, random knickknacks that I buy for myself, or eating out at the food truck on campus every now and then. But yeah, because currently I'm not going out. I'm not going out to eat because restaurants are closed in France at the moment. Generally, I would add another 150 euros a month for going out and stuff, at least for myself,
Right. And interestingly, for Canada, even if it's not euros, but it's approximately 1,000 Canadian dollars if you want to live really comfortably. But I would say that it can also go down to 800, 750. If your rent is a little on the cheaper side, you can still get a private room to yourself if you are living maybe just few kilometers away from your university, or even if you manage to share your entire apartment strategically so that everything is split between 2 or 3 people. So I think that's it for Canada as well. And if you want to dig into the details, then Mayank and I both, we have made a video of monthly expenses in Canada and in Europe, so you can watch that. And I'll put Mayank's channel in the description box.
Yeah, I have videos on a whole bunch of different topics on my channel, so you should definitely go check it out.
Thank you so much for being on the channel, and it was great knowing you as a person, talking to you and knowing more about Europe. So again, thanks a ton for coming.
You're welcome. I'm happy to be here.
If you did like the video, hit that like button and smash that subscribe button. And also don't forget to hit that bell icon. Until my next video, take care and stay happy. Bye.